Hi, I'm Susanna. I'm an author and a freelance book formatter. My debut novel Katie is a modern retelling of Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey, and I've also published an urban fantasy short story in The Shadow of Death. I'm currently working on another Jane Austen retelling, this time on Pride and Prejudice. It's been almost 4 months since my last writing blog, so let's start with a short recap of what I've been doing in the meantime. Although I've also talked about this in my 2026 writing goals video. My last vlog was from October when I finished draft 2 of the Pride and Prejudice retelling. I did the majority of developmental edits during draft 2, and after that I sent the manuscript to beta readers for feedback. While the retelling was at beta readers, I went back to my other writing project, Project Prehistory, and did a final read-through before I started querying it in January. But back to the retelling. I'm adapting Pride and Prejudice into a modern setting to the world of contemporary music industry, to be exact. In this version, Lizzie is a singer in an up-and-coming alt-rock band and pressured to record a duet with a pop music superstar, my equivalent for Mr. Darcy, even though he has previously bashed her music. There's also a matchmaking manager who wants her to start a fake relationship so that the band can get more streams, and a very troublesome lead guitarist. I started this year by reading the second draft. For that, I ordered an Amazon proof copy where I made all my revision notes. I talked about how I prepare for edits in my goals video, but briefly. I read the manuscript 3 times and note down all the things I want to change in the manuscript, ranging from continuity issues to clumsy sentences and typos or wrong word choice. So this third draft is closer to a line edit, although I also need to do some bigger edits as well. After I transferred all my handwritten notes to the Word document, I made a copy of the document, renamed it as Draft 3, and started making changes. I never rewrite an entire novel from scratch. I always edit an already existing text. I just find it a lot easier. So let's talk more about what my editing process looks like and what it is that I'm actually doing in Draft 3. My beta readers gave me some invaluable feedback and they were mostly happy with the story. Hence, I don't have to make major revisions in this draft. However, I need to clarify certain things that were not clear enough in the previous draft. One of my beta readers also noted that in some scenes the dialogue sounds stilted and old-fashioned, probably because it's too close to the original dialogue in Pride and Prejudice. There are also times where I move too fast from one scene to the next, so I need to work on the flow and add more description. And I also need to add bigger emotional beats to some places where the main character's inner thoughts merely skim the surface. This is also a pacing issue, as I'm moving too fast from one scene to another and not giving the characters time to reflect on what has happened. Now, in some places I disagree with my beta readers and I think the rapid pacing works better, but even then I need to make sure that the text flows smoothly. For the emotional cues and beats, I refer heavily to Angela Ackerman's and Becca Puglisi's The Emotion Thesaurus, where you can find both physical signals and internal sensations for different emotions. This is a great resource if you, like me, are struggling with how to show emotions instead of telling them, or if you find yourself repeating the same beats. Besides these slightly bigger edits, I'm doing more line editing level stuff. I still need to do a little bit of research, for example, image search clothes the characters are wearing. Another resource I love is Google Ngram, where you can compare several expressions and see which of them is the most common. I sometimes use it almost like a grammar check as well. I'm not a native English speaker, so I struggle with prepositions especially. And I obviously use a dictionary and the thesaurus. My favorite resource is Word Hippo, where you can find an immense number of synonyms. One of my overused words in draft 2 was leaned, and I'm trying to replace it with different expressions. My editing speed is rather slow, and I can usually edit maybe 500 words in an hour. This day I worked on the manuscript for 4 hours and I finished chapter 6 with its 1963 words. So I can log that in my writing journal and call it a day. At this speed I should be done with draft 3 by the end of April. Thank you for joining me today and I'll see you in my next video.